Alright. We are now starting our stream slash recording, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, last map. Oh, God, that map. Anyway, last map. Oh, I hope that doesn't get into the recording. Burning Down Under is the name of the map. Obviously, it wasn't the funnest of maps. You guys have any impressions on it?
It seems like a try-hard map.
At that point.
Wasn't, well, anything.
Yeah. It really. Oh my god. Now, my impressions is at first it started pretty well. Like, it was kind of like, okay, you gotta navigate, and it's gonna take some bits, turns, and unexpectedly going this way, that way, this way, that way.
Well, it was okay after we revived me after I accidentally walked off the edge.
Yeah, I mean, that started out actually quite funny. And it was doing good. And then part 3 happened. Now we're going reverse. No. Part 3 happened, and we're going in reverse. Only one map is in my... I think only 2 other maps have I ever played that ever did that. One was called Frozen. That was a custom map, and it was done actually quite well. Or was it Frozen Fire or something? I don't know. It was done very well. The other map is actually one of the base maps there is on Left 4 Dead 2. It's, I believe, Hard Raid.
Yeah, I think it's Hard Rain.
And thanks to my phone for interrupting me. Hard Rain did it right the first time. Because you didn't necessarily take the same path. And you had a lot of platforming, but it was easy platforming. You can kind of see the inspiration for this map. It did the same style of platforming.
Well, there's also a point, because you had to get the gas cans.
Yeah. This one didn't necessarily have a point to do that.
We just kind of went, and then it was like, okay, now go back.
Yeah.
It was sort of, we go this way, and then we get tumors in our heads, and the tumors tell us to go backwards.
Yeah, I don't understand why we had to go back.
The map surely should have ended after the... It should have been like, you know, you go through all the maps you actually had, and then we just ended it. Instead of, you know...
Lengthening it by going backwards, yeah.
Because it was lengthened by 2 pults. 2 pults for repetition.
Yeah, it really wasn't... It really wasn't fun. It was just like, why decide to go backwards? What's the thought process of that?
The map designer doesn't know how to think properly.
Must be.
Either that or they hate us.
I don't... I stayed up for this because lately I've been going to bed a lot earlier. You might see me a little tired, a little flustered. I put myself on a big screen because I don't think people were able to see me. Overall, this map is just... It needs to be worked on. It needs to take away that fucking going reverse. It's not fun the second time around. Like, the first time, yeah, you did it right. The second time, no. You did it wrong. It's certainly not as fun. It's challenging. I'll say that. But it's just not as fun. So, moving on, because I'm taking up way too much time and not thinking clearly. 5 stars max, 1 star minimum. If those who know our daily routine of doing this review, we maximize it at 5 stars of being the best and 1 star being the worst. However, there have been cases where it's been worse than 1 star, so just deal with that. So, number of infected. Dread, you're gonna start first. So, what'd you think?
I'll give it half a star because at some points there were just way too many.
All right. Kyo.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, it wasn't bad all the time. So, way too many hordes. But I'll give it half a star.
All right. I think I'm gonna give it the same. This is like the first half of the maps were generically easy, and then second half not as much. It seemed like they changed the difficulty all around.
The common infected didn't have any consistency.
Yeah, it was up and down at variant points. Hell, a lot of the problems we had is just right at the very fucking start because of a glitch. Fucking AI opening the fucking door before everybody's ready.
That's pretty messed up.
Yeah. So
Unless the game updated and they added door opening to the AI,
yeah.
it's maybe something the game designer did. The map designer.
Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a glitch, something he's just not able to fix, or something. I don't know. It could be a number of things. Anyway, I think we've said enough on that one. Next part. Time. It took us 2 hours and 3 minutes according to the in-game clock. I'm sure it was a lot longer. Or at least it felt longer. Dread, what'd you think about the time for a 5-part map?
I'll give it a quarter because it extended its length by a lot by adding in those last 2 parts, and we pretty much had to go into try-hard mode just to get through those.
Okay.
After we kept dying over and over again.
Right. Yo.
I'm gonna give it none. I think it went over the time limit. Even if we didn't start over all that time,
Yeah.
probably would have been too long.
Yeah. I'm gonna factor in the fact that we restarted a total of 6 different times. Most of those came in part 3.
Yeah. But a lot of those went pretty quick, though.
Yeah, and this also boils down to how difficult part 3, part 4 were. I'll give it a quarter because technically, if we didn't restart, we could have shaved some time, and
Yeah.
it would have been a little bit higher. Although I do see your point, Keo, it did go over its time. It needs... The lengthen doesn't match the amount of maps you're doing, because it seemed like what part 2 in comparison to part 3 were, even though they were the same essential map, it seemed like part 3 was longer because we're going a whole different route.
Well, it was really just the same route, just in reverse.
Well, no, because you gotta remember we had water. We had to go a different route because the tree fell down, blocking our normal path.
Alright, that's...
It was... They tried to do something that was kind of creative, I'm not gonna lie. It was a creative idea, but it was done wrong. they just wanted to make it like more difficult for the player, and it was already difficult prior to that. You had 2 tanks on us, and you had the water. In fact, that doesn't help. So it's not like we can just throw fire and hope for dear God that we can take him out. They got the water on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as
lucky.
yeah, but as far as the amount of times we restarted, a total of 6 different times, plus trying to hold out against horde after horde, or horde after horde after horde. That's the other thing, is just the horde just kept coming, and you couldn't get a chance to fucking get a break. When you did get a break, you got maybe 5 minutes just to kind of like think you're okay, and then suddenly here comes another set of horde, and it just keeps coming. So time does make a problem for that. I think we're averaging like almost 20 to 30 minutes per part that we shouldn't have been taking that long. I think it was just when we were able to finally do get down part 3, and I just kind of bolted and didn't look back. I think that was the quickest run we ever did. Same with part 4, but that was a whole different route. In fact, part 4 was a lot going backwards, but a weird route way. Anyway, we move on. Difficulty fitting. I'm assuming you guys are giving it a 0.
Yeah, I'll give it a 0 because this map you need to...
There goes Kyo.
This map you need to have a Left 4 Dead experience or have experience with really hard, difficult maps like this.
Yeah,
Like, you need to perfect how to mooters.
yeah, essentially.
That's what we were doing in part 3.
Well, even in part 4. Because it was the same fucking thing to do. For those of you who may not know what the term mooters means, it's a Lord Cat Mafia thing. It's relevant to Left 4 Dead in the fact that the point is to run the fuck away and don't look behind. Yeah. And hope for dear God you make it. And most of the time, if you mooters it, you don't.
Unless you're lucky.
Yeah.
Or
Kyo,
unless you have to.
Kyo, do you give it a 0 for difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to get that confirmed. Yeah, it's just difficulty sporadic. At one point it's easy, next point it's just balls hard, and then the next point it's kind of like, okay.
And it felt like things really spawned by themselves. It was usually 2.
Yeah, not only that, it's just like even specials were like spawning at a sporadic rate. Hell, I think it was like a
higher than normal. Definitely higher than normal.
Even just before the finale, we had like 7 freaking specials just spawn in front of us before we even got out of the door.
Yeah.
It was just
that safe room was kind of annoying in that the safe protects you.
Yeah.
And there's a window that can break that they can get into.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Overall, that the difficulty is just sporadic. It doesn't match up. The amount of health you gave isn't not enough, it feels like.
It's not so much that it wasn't enough, it's that it was often too much at one point, you know?
Yeah. It was just like, oh, 6 health packs in the safe room. Okay. We get out of the safe room, and we die still, because there's no health packs ahead of us.
It's like it's set up with this point should, you know, like there was a couple points we just hit like a checkpoint, you know, where there was like 4 or 5 med packs on the way, but it's like we didn't need to use any of them a couple times.
Right.
And then right after that, there's like we needed those now.
True. So yeah, there's that. There's the fact that there's not much variety in melees. But then again, there's not much melees in this.
What, there was like 5 that overall spawned throughout everything that we saw?
Yeah, but there, I mean, more in a variety of that there wasn't like there was no axes, which I'm more surprised of because of where we're at. There was no swords, which understandably, there was one machete, there was one wiffle ball bat,
So I saw the machete. I saw
one
wiffle ball.
golf club,
I saw
crowbar.
a guitar once.
It was stuff that you probably would see, but the golf club was kind of like random. Wiffle ball bat was the other random thing. But the machete you would probably see at the area. You'd probably also see the crowbar. But I was more or less expecting to see maybe an axe because we did see places where you would think there might be woodcutters. You know? Or even a fire axe. Just
that, you know, like a weapon spawn point, and the game just throws stuff down.
it could be, yeah.
Like we didn't see an AK until we replayed this last mission the second time.
Yeah.
Up until that point, the AK never spawned.
Yeah, the variety of primaries to secondary weapons is just way off. Even that, the randomization of like health packs, adrenaline, pills, ammo was sporadic. Especially in the final mission where I ran out of ammo in the second time round, and the place that spawned ammo before wasn't there. It was now an adrenaline shot.
Well, yeah, I did find an ammo restore point there, like, as we were leaving to the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, well, that was that.
It's sporadic. It doesn't make sense. It's all over the place. It's just, it's bad design for a map like that, because that map really relies you on having ammo because of how open the place is.
Yeah,
especially that last part.
Run out pretty quick.
Yeah. So yeah, overall it just it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. That's what it does. So moving on to theme/design. Burning Down Under is the name. So Dread, what do you give for theme/design?
I give it a 0.
Okay.
I did not see any koalas anywhere.
Okay.
I wanted to see fucking koalas under and on fire here. I didn't get any of that shit. Gets a 0 for no burning koalas.
Okay. Gil.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it as a 0. I don't even know what theme was there. If it was Australia, they never hinted at Australia being where you were.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was... And the map design was terrible even at that, so it doesn't have that to write on itself.
Alright, I think I gotta give it an 8th. I gotta give it an 8th, because there was some creativity with the map. Like, I could see where the ideas were coming from.
There could have been creativity if there were flaming koalas.
Not that type of creativity.
I want my flaming koalas.
Dad, let me explain, okay? Firstly, as Kyo and Dread has obviously said, with a name called Burning Down Under and you don't include anything from Australia or any relevance to Australia, which is usually the place to go down under, really is confusing. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't give the theme anywhere there. On top of that, burning part of it doesn't make sense either. There was places that were burning, but that don't make sense considering that you gave it a name called Burning Down Under. That's the first thing. The second thing is the map overall sucked. The backtracking was the worst part of the map. The fact that we had to blitz through the backtracking part because it got so unfair because of A, randomization, and B, just ungodful fucking common wouldn't stop spawning doesn't help. So we can't take the time to appreciate what the map's got. Not like we could anyway. We already had seen most of that part. The first two parts of the map were done actually quite well. Boring, but well done. But there's no sense of direction with them. Especially the first part. That's the one that's worst on that and needs work. But you had solid ideas for it. It worked out in such a way that it worked. But again, make the sense of direction feel better. The finale, creative idea. Make the player think which helicopter is the right one. I like it. Not well executed, but I like it. So that may be something you need to work on. Finale could actually, where it starts, should be actually about 10 minutes, not 5. I understand why you put it at 5, because it's difficult as it is. But again, this comes down to the fact that it's also kind of glitchy in the fact that we don't know if we needed to go to that one helicopter to start the fucking finale to go, or we need to go to the other one, or backtrack. It was confusing. Okay, that's something you need to work on. But again, there's some creative points where you're trying, but they're not well executed. I'm only giving you an 8th because I've seen what you're trying to do. But most of this fucking map, it just sucks. It just fucking sucks, and it needs to be reworked. Take out the backtracking, because that's the worst part of it. It makes no sense to have 2 straight fucking parts going blitzing through backtracking. It doesn't work in this particular map. It's not Hard Rain, and it's not Frozen. Frozen was actually pretty decent. Maybe because of the art design that they changed. So yeah, there's that. That leaves us with the last one, which is recommendations, which I'm already going to figure out as a 0.
Yep.
It gets a 0 for me because of no fucking koalas are on fire.
There's more than that, Dread.
Among other things.
Yeah, we didn't.
This map is not for beginners. This map you need to at least you have to have some Left 4 Dead 2 experience.
Even then, though, it's not even a fun map.
It's more of a try-hard map.
Yeah.
Even all those are fun.
Well, this one is more try-hard than the rest.
Yeah, this map, it needs a lot of work. Definite name change, unless you can incorporate Australia with it, or something that references why it's called that. It's not recommended, period, as it is right now. It's not worth playing. Idea-wise, well thought, but something that sounds good on paper doesn't immediately sound good while playing it. Which means you need to tinker with it, make it more fun instead of more challenging. If you're the type of person that likes a challenge, I kind of understand why you went that way, but again, we're trying to appeal to people that play Left 4 Dead for fun and casual. That's the point. That's why we leave it at a normal difficulty. That's why we don't put it on realism. That's why we don't go the most difficult fucking difficulty in the game. This is supposed to be a fun experience, and this is not a map that felt fun. It felt like it was a giant fucking maze to get through every single part. The common, though well done on the being a factor of difficulty, it wasn't well done in the fact that you sent hordes after hordes after hordes, and it didn't stop. The fact that the sporadic amount of specials being spawned, anywhere from tanks having 2 of them spawn at the same time, to having 7 other specials spawning almost within seconds of each other. And that's before we even leave the safe house. the designs of the final safe house. There's a window that should not be broken, and it doesn't feel like a safe house anymore. It feels like we could die at any moment. The glitches with the... Whether it is something that you could fix or not, the fact that a bot can open the safe room door before everybody even loads in is bad. It spawns everything, and it puts us in pretty much bad jeopardy. Especially if there's no ammo. That brings me to my next point. Have ammo, at least in every safe room, whether it be start or finished one. Okay? That one is the worst part of what happened in part 3. We had to look for the goddamn ammo. These are just points of advice to fix the major problems and issues with this map. I don't even know how you got 2 stars out of 5 on GameMaps.com, formerly Left4DeadMaps.com, because it didn't even reach a star on our stuff. I had the highest at 7/8 of a star. Keo gave you a half a star. Dread gave you 3/4 of a star. It didn't hit anywhere near it. So I don't know how these people thought it was 2 out of 5. But then again, people over at GameMaps.com don't know how to give a good rating. They just want to look at a star rating and say, 2 out of 5.
They just give bullshit ratings.
There's a few 3 out of 5s on that list too, I noticed.
I understand from a challenge point, this was a very challenging map. Well done for a challenge. Not well done for the casual market, which is most of the goddamn gamers of today. They don't want a challenge. They want to kind of take it a little easy and have fun. That's why a lot of them play portable games, because they're not incredibly challenging. Overall, this
map was just a disappointment.
It was disappointment. I usually, when I look up on GameMaps.com, if I find a map that's in that star rating, I either think it's special, like there's something majorly wrong with it, whether it be glitched or just performance-wise, because I've run into those, and most of those 2 to lower stars hit that, or it's a really boring, very glitchy, very bad map overall. You hit under the more or less bad map, not well designed. I didn't see a single glitch though, outside of the bot, but I'm wondering if that's a Left 4 Dead glitch and that's something he can't control, he or she. I didn't run into any bugs with the map. Everything seemed to be working fine for the most part outside of the finale. Finale is a bit weird. So make it a moral point to tell us which helicopter it is. Be fair to your player. There's a sense of being fair to your player that you need to do.
And like, if you're gonna have a false helicopter, have like a corpse fall out of the pilot seat or something.
Yeah, be creative with it. Take more time. All it needs is a little more care to it, and a little bit more amazement to make it more creative. It's not, even though Dredd said it, it's not like you need that. You don't need it. That one's just more for fun. But again, just be creative, be smart about it, do more to it. Don't just make it bland. Because right now, it's like, what's a good example? It's like you're cooking something, and you haven't put the seasoning on it yet.
Yeah.
It's bland right now. It needs to be worked on. It needs to be polished. As for rebuilding, it does need to get rid of the 3rd and 4th part maps. Unless there's a point to that, it's utterly useless.
Need to get rid of them and just make a new finale. Just make it 4 parts.
3 or 4 parts, yeah. It was solid for the first 2 parts. It was solid. Maybe here and there polishing it up. The finale is pretty much solid outside of what happens with the helicopters. But again, it's just parts 3 and 4 that need to be worked on the most. Unless you got a point for making us do the backtracking part, get rid of them. There's really no point of ever needed backtracking. Backtracking is usually the ones that most people do not like. So yeah, it just needs some work. So yeah, that is our review for you folks. Thank you for tuning in to our stream if you are indeed watching, which right now I don't see any, but it is late tonight anyway. If you are subscribed to my channel or Kyo's channel, the Imperialistic Fox, right? Or did you change it? Well,
well,
no, because it would change based on the what was it called? Logo. The web address. You need. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the web address would go to mine. It'd be like Frozen Phoenix 19. That's because it's how it is. It's based on the username. Yours is based on like what, Google Plus. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can find Kyo's channel through mine. Mine is Frozen Phoenix 19. That's the channel on YouTube that I use. For those of you who already are there, please like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate feedback. We want feedback for our videos. I don't know if I'm going to make streaming a main thing to do, but if we do, it's usually going to be on a Saturday, and it's going to be late night when we're all available, mainly because some of us do have other things going on in our lives, whether it be school or personal, whatever it is. And I hope you enjoyed our review, and if you want to message us directly telling us, hey, you should try this map, comment below. If you want to actually send us the map that you created, provide a link to us via private message. Either go on Steam and look us up, because you should be able to find our names. Make sure you comment on our profiles before you add us, so that way we know who you are, how you found us, and all that stuff. So because we get tons of friends requests.
I'm sick of finding hobos and scammers.
Yeah, we don't know if you're a scammer or not. We just don't. And unless you tell us who you are and why you're there, we don't know. And you can certainly find us, because if you haven't looked at the video of playthroughs yet, you know, there's your information. You don't have to. We don't have to put it out at here. So anyway, thank you for watching our stream. If you did, thank you for being subscribed. Thank you for everything you've done so far. We hope to make this a better community, and we will see you later.
And that's a wrap.